The Chambered Nautilus by Oliver Wendell Holmes, 1809 to 1894. This is the ship of pearl which poets feign sails the unshadowed main, the venturous bark that flings on the sweet summer wind its purple wings in gulfs unchanted where the Siren sings, and coral reefs lie bare where the cold sea-maids rise to sun their streaming hair. Its webs of living gauze no more unfurl, wrecked is the ship of pearl, and every chambered cell where its dim dreaming life was wont to dwell, as the frail tenant shaped his growing shell, before thee lies revealed, its irised ceiling rent, its sunless crypt unsealed. Year after year beheld the silent toil that spread his lustrous coil. Stiff as the spiral grew, he left the past year's dwelling for the new, stole with soft step its shining archway through, built up its idle door, stretched in his last found home, and knew the old no more. Thanks for the heavenly message brought by thee, child of the wandering sea, cast from her lap forlorn. From thy dead lips a clearer note is born than ever Triton blew from wreathed horn. While on mine ear it rings, through the deep caves of thought I hear a voice that sings, build thee more stately mansions, O my soul, as the swift seasons roll. Leave thy low vaulted past, let each new temple, nobler than the last, shut thee from heaven with a dome more vast, till thou at length art free, leaving thine outgrown shell by life's unresting sea. Okay, this is a poem by Oliver Wendell Holmes. This is Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. He was an American. He was born in Boston, and he's part of the American Renaissance from Boston. He was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and he went to a private school in Boston and then to Harvard. He graduated from Harvard and studied law for a short time, but then decided to become a doctor, and he began writing poetry when he was quite young. He was part of Boston's literary elite, and he had friends like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Longfellow, and James Russell Lowell, and many of Holmes's poems were published in Atlantic Monthly. So what's this poem about? Well, this poem is about a nautilus shell. A nautilus shell, it's a shell that is round. It goes round and round, and it's a perfect spiral. It's a perfect logarithmic spiral. And he has found the shell of a nautilus. I have a vision that it's quite a large one. I remember seeing ones that are up to this sort of size. And he's thinking about this nautilus and how this nautilus has lived in the sea, has been to many different places. And the shell is built up of little caves. So there's a little cave, and the nautilus lives in the shell, and then when it grows, it builds another, and it builds more shell, and the shell goes round and round, and each time it builds a bigger volume for itself to live in. And Holmes is looking at this broken shell on the beach, and he's thinking about it, and he thinks that the message that comes from this Nautilus shell is that we need to do the same with our own lives, with our own spirit. We need to come out of the small cave that we live in and build a bigger one with a higher ceiling, and a bigger one and a bigger one, and move to bigger and bigger shells, so that our souls, our person, can grow and grow and grow until we ascend to heaven, till we become infinite upon death. So, the chambered Nautilus. This is the ship of pearl, which poets feign sails the unshadowed main. Okay, so this is a ship of pearl. This is the shell, and poets pretend that this shell, it sails the main, it sails the seas. The venturous bark that flings on the sweetest summer wind its purple wings in gulfs enchanted where the Siren sings. So this shell, it's a metaphor for a ship that is sailing to different places, that it's an adventurous bark boat that moves on the summer air, and its purpled wings, it sails. But I think the Nautilus itself, the creature, looks a bit like a squid or an octopus, and it has purple tentacles, and in this shell, it goes to the enchanted gulfs where the Sirens sing. The Siren is a mythical sea creature that lures sailors onto the rocks. It's in the form of a woman who, or the head is in the form of a woman that sings to sailors, drawing them to the rocks. And coral reefs lie bare, and there are reefs of coral where the sea-maids rise to sun their streaming hair. And there are coral reefs where the mermaids, the sea-maids, they come up to the sun, and they lie in the sun. Its webs of living gauze no more unfurl, wrecked is the ship of pearl. So this shell, the Nautilus, is no longer alive, and it no longer unfurls its tentacles to sail the sea, and the ship of pearl, this shell, is wrecked, and every chambered cell where its dim dreaming life was wont to dwell, as the frail tenant shaped his growing cell, before thee lies revealed. So, and all of the chambered cell, all of the chambers, all of the internal parts of this shell, where the Nautilus lived it lived its dim dreaming life. Look at this alliteration, dim dreaming, dwell, those D's. As the frail tenant, as the weak tenant, the animal that lived there, shaped his growing shell, before thee lies revealed. So the shell is broken open, and you can see all of the chambers where the Nautilus has been building his shell more and more as the years go by. Its irised ceiling rent, its sunless crypt unsealed. So I think the irised ceiling is the outside of the shell, and this I think you could see it as iridescent, although I remember a Nautilus shell as an orange colour, an orange-brown colour on the outside. So the shell has been rent, it's been broken, and the inside is now visible. It's sunless crypt. The crypt is the burial place, a burial place below a church. So you can see that the shell has been broken, and you can see inside all of the different chambers. Year after year beheld the silent toil that spread his lustrous coil. So this shell has taken years to make. Each year he makes another chamber, and this has made this coil, this logarithmic spiral, bigger and bigger, and this is spreading this shining coil. Still, as the spiral grew, he left the past year's dwelling for the new. So the spiral is growing, of the shell is growing, and he leaves the place where he lived last year, and moves into a new area of the shell, a new volume of the shell, because he's grown. Stole with soft step its shining archway through, and it climbs through the archway into the new place that it's made, built up its idle door. So, then I think this creature seals the previous one behind. Stretched in his last found home, and knew the old no more. And he moves into the new section of the shell, which is there growing, and he stretches out, and he's comfortable in his new home, and he forgets the old. He forgets the old ways, because this is part of the metaphor that Holmes is building up to, that he's leaving behind the old life and taking on the new life, and your soul and your spirit grows, and you leave behind the cramped old ways, and you start new ways. Thanks for the heavenly message brought by thee, child of the wandering sea. So he's saying thank you to the Nautilus for the message that the Nautilus has brought. And we're still not clear about the message, but I think the message comes in the last the last part of the poem, where he said, with this idea of growing our souls, of our souls getting bigger. Cast from her lap forlorn. So here is the shell that has been cast from the sea, the broken shell, that the Nautilus is no more, that it was thrown out of the sea after it was finished. From thy dead lips a clearer note is born than ever Triton blew from wreathed horn. So the message that you send me, Nautilus, is very, very clear. It's clearer than a note blown by Triton on his conch shell horn. Now Triton was a god of the sea, or a demigod. He's the son of Poseidon and Amphitrite, and he lives in the sea, and he carries a conch shell which he blows like a horn, which controls, or it rules the waves, and it's wreathed, it's covered in seaweed. So the message that you send me, Nautilus, is very, very clear. While on mine ear it rings, through the deep caves of thought I hear a voice that sings. So the Nautilus, it might be dead, but the message still carries. And through deep caves of thought, these caves are echoing the caves inside the Nautilus's shell, I hear your voice telling me, and here's the message: build thee more stately mansions, O my soul, as the swift seasons roll. So build bigger things, soul. Leave thy low vaulted path. So leave your past with your small ambitions and make your soul bigger. Learn to be more of a person. Increase your scope, increase your life, increase your soul, increase your possibilities. Let each new temple, nobler than the last, shut thee from heaven with a dome more vast. So keep making yourself new temples, bigger than the previous one, more noble, more honourable than the previous one, and these are separate from heaven. And this is like the Nautilus building the sections of the shell. And this is the message that the Nautilus has sent him. So build your soul, build rooms for your soul, which get bigger and bigger, and they have a vaulted ceiling, which is ever bigger and bigger and bigger, till thou at length art free, until you build one that is so big that this is the universe, that the shape, that the room that you build, the vault that you build, the ceiling that you build is so big that you reach the heavens, leaving thy outgrown shell by life's unresting sea. And like that, you can ascend to heaven. You leave behind your life on earth and you ascend to heaven and become infinite, like this Nautilus that has left the shell on the shore and has gone up to heaven, has become part of the infinite. And you, as humans, we leave our bodies on the shore and rise up to infinite good, the infinite goodness of heaven. So, The Chambered Nautilus by Oliver Wendell Holmes. Bye for now.